Jesuit University. Any questions?
College Football 84 is brought to you by Stroh's and Stroh's Light, proud sponsor of the Stroh's Run for Liberty. By Toyota's exciting cars and trucks for 1984. Toyota invites you to see them at your local dealer. By Mobil Super Unleaded Gasoline. Mobil Super Unleaded, it's really powerful. By Levi's jeans, cords, and shirts for quality and style that you can count on. And by Kemper and the independent insurance agents who represent us. For all your insurance needs, ride with Kemper. Alumni Stadium, Boston College. And as I mentioned just a moment or so ago, it is going to be jam-packed and rocking this afternoon. It's a long way back to some of the miserable days of Boston College football. They had some great individual performers, but not what they have here now. They've started to redevelop a real tradition. And before very long, you're going to see an enlarged stadium, and you're going to see and hear more and more about Boston College. On the other side, much the same true about Rutgers, as Kyle alluded to just a while ago. The Rutgers program under Dick Anderson has come just tremendous distance from where it used to be. And what we have here, two teams out of the East that are going to be knocking heads and making people aware of who they are for the next few years.
And let's recall that last year, this Boston College Eagle team was awarded the Lambert Trophy, which each year is given to the #1 team in the East. With that loss last week, however, to West Virginia, Boston College is watching very carefully their game later on today with Penn State. Let's take a listen to the referee on the coin toss.
Ball's ahead. It is ahead. Rutgers wins the toss. You like take the ball. There, first, sir, you have the kick. Would you put your back over there, sir? Rutgers wins the toss. They elect to receive. Good game.
So Rutgers has decided to receive after winning the coin toss. And there they are, the golden-domed Boston College Eagles. And on the near side, Rutgers, a team that has certainly been inspired by their play this year, 5-2. They ran all over the University of Louisville last week, and they've done an outstanding job so far. Officially, John Sophie will be the referee. Ronald Abdow, the umpire. The head linesman, Donald Guman. Line judge, Joseph Bremeyer. Field judge, Jim Klingensmith, and the back judge, Michael Donato. Those gentlemen will have the responsibility of keeping this one intact, and I'm sure they'll do an excellent job. So, we'll get ourselves set for the kickoff of a game that I don't know that a lot of people were anticipating would be a great one before the season. But nevertheless, here it is, and they've come down to a team, Boston College, that was defeated by 1, West Virginia, 21-20 last week. A game in which Doug Flutie actually had perhaps maybe a couple hundred yards called back. They had over 111 yards in penalties. They had over 100 yards in drop passes. And Dick Anderson is well aware of what they can put on the board offensively. As you saw moments ago, Kevin Snow, the man that'll kick off for BC. And interestingly, Eddie, the only time that Doug Flutie has really struggled this year, he threw 3 of his 4 interceptions in one game. That was against Temple. They rushed 8 players on the front line. As we take a look at Dick Anderson, and no doubt some of those thoughts are going through his mind. How do you get to the fabulous flinger? The second game, of course, was against West Virginia. As Eddie told you, them losing last week 21-20. They also rushed 8, so they decided to go on single coverage in the secondary, and we'll have a chance to see when Boston gets the ball exactly how they're going to try to defend. Dan McCarris and Dwayne Hooper are back. It's Hooper. And Hooper does not get back to the 20-yard line. He's cracked down pretty good there by BC. And it'll be Mike Degnan, who is a reserve defensive tackle, who made the stop. And so it'll be first down and 10 to go. And the ball will be on the 19-yard line. We're in the first quarter. We're just underway offensively. Hochberg delayed with Albert Smith and Vernon Williams, the running backs. Baker, Pendergrass, and Alan Andrews, the wide receivers. The line, Brenner, Udovich, DeGilio, and Getz and Keating. Pretty good line. As we get set and out of the I formation, we start with Hochberg to pass. And complete. Up to the 31-yard line. Andrew Baker is tackled by Neil Eiton. Andrew Baker, who now is 4 catches shy of a school record 113 is what he has. Defensively, David Thomas, the tri-captain, are one of them. Scott Harrington, Mike Ruth, a great one. John Boser and Chuck Gorecki across the line. They play a 50 defense. Linebackers Ed Von Nessen and Peter Holy. Secondary, Russell, Eiton, Thurman, and Pereira. Hochberg got his man shy of the 50-yard line. Todd Russell tackling number 83, and that is Boris Pendergrass.
Well, 2 straight first downs for Rutgers, and it's obvious they're going to come out and throw some. One interesting change in the backfield for Rutgers. We've got Curtis Stevens, number 48, playing in place of Vernon Williams. Williams last week with a little case of fumbleitis.
So the I formation with Stevens the fullback. The running back in the I is Albert Smith. Twin receivers to the far side. Hochberg has thrown all 3s down so far, and that one is complete to Andrew Baker. As Thurman is over there along with David Pereira, but Baker falling down immediately. So a couple of catches now for Baker, and he is getting very close to a new school record.
Well, Jack McNell wondering what his secondary is going to be seeing all day. 3 straight passes, 3 straight completions. It's the first time that there's been a second down today.
BC gives up about 357 yards a game, a little over 19 points a game. John Galvin is into the linebacker now. On the give, running play. This is Stevens, and up inside and down to the 40-yard line. Tony Thurman made the stop. Tony Thurman is the free safety, and an excellent free safety. He leads the nation in interceptions and also career interceptions. There's Curtis Stevens, as you see, averaging 5.5 yards per as he carries the ball. Von Nessen now has come back into the linebacker. Actually should mention that the 2 starting linebackers for BC, Andy Himmer and Ted Gaffney, are injured. They did not start. Blitz on. Hochberg. And out of bounds at the 11-yard line, intended for Andrew Baker. Played down here by number 41, Dave Pereira, as a good rush that time by Mike Ruth. Rusty Hochberg.
4th straight time, Eddie, they've thrown on first down. With that earlier run, they did get the first last time, so we're now at second down. A lot of pressure being put on by Mike Ruth, as you said, number 68. Very, very strong and very, very fast.
They set up in that basic 5, but they'll give you a 4-look or a 5-3 or a 3-4. They'll move it around. Second down and 10. And it's caught. It was kind of a wobbly duck that time to the flanker Andrew Baker, who has 3 receptions already. Baker with over 300 yards for the season, bumped right there by Todd Russell, a left corner.
Take a look on the pattern. We see some single coverage. He's going to move down. He drives to the outside, and I believe, Eddie, that catch is probably going to put him over the 2,000-yard mark in his career.
All right, all over the ball. Joe DiGilio, who was a center and a good one, second team All-East last year. 2 wide receivers to the left side out of the eye. BC moving their defense. Good rush that time. And that was an incomplete pass. Big John Bosa, 6'4", 252 from Keene, New Hampshire, with a good rush. And that time BC had them coming on a 3rd down, and it'll bring up a 4th and 3 on the 33.
You see they aren't even able to get set up behind the tackle. It's a little sprint out action, but Bosa moves in. A lot of double teaming on Mike Ruth there. Tremendous nose guard allows Bosa to get through, and setting up this 4th down. They are in punt formation.
Tony Thurman back to receive. It'll be Greg Liska, who averages 37.6 yards a kick. Thurman is back on the 11-12 yard line, and he's hoping that it'll clear and go into the end zone. He'll get it back. Uh-oh. They had a trick play that they were trying to pull off that time, and there was a miscommunication. Mike Ruth just came up with his 4th sack of the year as he came roaring through there that time. And the man back to set the block that time was Jacques Laprairie, or Jack, as they say up in Rutgers, Jack Laprairie. You want to anglicize it a little bit, and there it is.
Well, Jack Laprairie is looking, I think, to get the ball in his gut. It looks like it was trying to be thrown back to the kicker, Gary Liska. But either way, it was miscommunication, and you saw Dick Anderson very upset on the sideline.
Offense set to go. Flutie. Laprairie is an ex-quarterback. They may have had a trick play in mind. High formation. That's Stratford. And as he hurdles the crowd, Tony Sagnella, big, strong, 260-pound junior defensive tackle from Connecticut, pulled him down. Offensively for Boston College, Flutie the Magic Man with Stratford and Strahan, Kelvin Martin the flanker, the split end Jared Phelan, and Gieselman the tight end. Regent, Bardwell, Bicknell, Trapillo, and McDonald on the offensive line. McDonald with a bad ankle. All set to go. We have a 2nd down and 5 on the 47-yard line. From the eye, Stratford. And he stepped out of the tackle by the first man, LaPrairie, and it was Roy Oak, the weak side linebacker, that made the hit. And brings up a 3rd down and close to a 1st.
Really some good strategy defensively as Rutgers with a lot of people to the ball, and we're going to see that all day. Gang tackling, and they're going to let Mr. Stratford know early on that he's going to be hit by more than one every time he carries the ball.
3rd down and 2. Ball at the 50-yard line. Jack Bicknell on the Boston College sign, sending every signal in. Flutie has the option to check off as they go in the split backfield. 1st down. And Stratford ducks inside the 45 to the 40-yard line. Troy Stratford, John Cummins, the free safety. And Stratford, who has now very close to 400 yards for the year. He had 800 plus last year. Defensively, Tom Duffy with Bukowski, Piquel, and Sagnella across the line, the linebacker. Washington, who's actually a drop-in, Tyrone Stowe, Harold Young, Twomley, Cummins, and LaPrairie in the defensive secondary. Set to go. Stratford and Strahan, the running backs in the eye. Now they're in a single back with a stretch man on either side. Flutie. And wrapped up very quickly before he had a chance to make the catch was the tight end, Scott Gieselman. The 44, Roy Oak, linebacker you're looking at. He comes from Piscataway, New Jersey. So we'll bring on a 2nd and 10. Gieselman's good size, 6'6", 240. Good size for a tight end. And he has 3 touchdown receptions so far this year. You look at some of the numbers that these receivers have, averaging Gieselman, for instance, around 13 yards a catch. They've got Martin at 19 yards a catch. Phelan, 14 yards a catch. Phelan and Martin are in the wide receiver positions now as they go from the eye. Stratford. And down to the 35. We're very close to the 35. Tyrone Stowe, one of the linebackers for Rutgers. And Rutgers will line up in what they call basically a 50 defense, but they'll drop Lionel Washington, who's looks like he sets up as a defensive end, actually into a linebacker slot, and you'll see him on the nickel situations. Brendan Murphy in. Peter Casparello comes out at the tight end. They have a 3rd and 5, a double tight end situation for Boston College. And in the slot right now will be Stratford. They got Stratford.
Eddie, that's all Doug Flutie. Flutie saw the defense. He checks off, changes the play about 25% of the time at the line of scrimmage. And he got Stratford isolated. Let's take a look. You see Flutie, he'll come up each time. He's just reading the keys back defensively, throws the ball into space, just is able to loft the ball. A little inside movement with the wide receiver. Stratford gets caught up on a linebacker, and 6 points.
What happened there was they started to blitz. They blitzed the strong safety that time, Kyle. When they did that, Flutie just checked off, as you mentioned. They had Stratford wide open. They were trying to put pressure on the pass, and it backfired. Kevin Snow is in for the PAT. Phelan to hold, and they drop it. Well, they got it. They got it. They drop it over the bars, and we'll take a break as Boston College in the 1st quarter. Off to a start, 7-0 over Rutgers. We'll be back on USA Sports.
Out for a day just chasing the sun, or doing the work that's got to be done, or riding a race that's got to be won. Kawasaki. Now with a choice of 3-wheelers that offer low prices, high performance, and about everything in between. And for one more wheel of a time, check out the all-new Bayou 4-wheeler. Get the best of both worlds at your Kawasaki dealer.
Some make greatness look simple, like the great Gretzky and Canon's new vision of photography, the inspiring T70. with the pure agility, the complete versatility of touch button control and 3 distinct program modes. Now, Canon makes it simple to handle any shot. The inspiring Canon T70.
It makes the great shot simple.
We're set to go from Alumni Stadium here in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. In the distance, you could see the downtown Boston area. And the Boston College Eagles are about to kick off, and it'll be Hooper and McHarris. Dan McHarris and Dwayne Hooper will receive for Rutgers, and Rutgers looking up 7-0. One of the main concerns that Boston College coaches had coming in was if his club or if the clubs could rebound. And with a guy like Doug Flutie at the helm, I don't see any reason why. You see where he is now, the career passing leaders, Flutie in his senior season, and he is in a good position to kind of crawl that ladder all the way to the top. Elway is just ahead.
Well, he's on a pace right now. If he continues to average 250 a game, he will be #1.
He wants to break the 10,000 mark, and he has a chance to do so. That's Hooper. 15 and down at the 20-yard line. Special team play by Garrett McPherson. As Hooper comes out of there, he's a senior. It'll be Stevens and Albert Smith lining up in the backfield for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Pendergrass, one of the wide receivers. Alan Andrews, the tight end. Andrew Baker will be the flanker. Ed Von Nessen and Peter Holy are the linebackers for Boston College. Todd Russell on the left corner. Pereira, Thurman, Eichen, the rest of the defensive secondary. In motion, that's Baker. And they try the running play, and over the middle they go, and it looks like Mike Ruth. Scott Harrington was there. Ruth, incidentally, is amazingly strong. I don't know whether you're aware of the fact that Randy White of the Dallas Cowboys can bench press over 500 pounds. Ruth has already gone over 530 pounds. He wants to be a priest. Well, he may be the strongest priest in the world. So this one's over. I'm not sure that anybody's going to argue with him in confession. Oh, dude. 2nd down and 10. Ball is on the 21-yard line. Ruth is the nose guard. Drops off. Hochberg. Oh, he throws a nice ball. That's Andrew Baker. Hochberg has now completed 5 passes. And on the tackle, Tony Thurman. But on the double pump, Kyle, he throws a real nice pass.
Throws a nice pass, and it shows a lot of courage of players like Andrew Baker, knowing that he's going to get hit anytime the ball is thrown over the middle. That's going to happen. And I think what happened to their strong safety, Dave Pereira, who was able to come in there, was that he had one hand going for the ball, one hand going for the receiver, and didn't make up his mind to play the ball.
72 yards for Hochberg, and this time he overthrows Andrew Baker, the intended receiver. Roy Norden, a defensive tackle, 2nd line tackle with good pressure on the pass that time, and that made Hochberg get rid of it a little bit prematurely. Out of the lineup now, number 43, Eichen, and in comes Vincent Munn. So Munn will station himself in the right corner position. And they'll have Pereira, the strong safety, who is a hitter. Will they get to you? Hochberg now, unofficially, 71 yards, 5 for 8 on passing. 2nd and 10, ball at the 49.
Well, that one was thrown away. There was a busted play at the line of scrimmage. He got the ball in his hands a little bit earlier than he had planned on. And the center just forgot what the snap count was, but rather than risk the interception, he just threw the ball over the top of the receivers.
There he is, Rusty Hochberg, 6'3", 195-pound junior. Last week, 358 yards. He was 26 of 38 against Louisville, and he had 3 touchdown passes. Well, he can get prolific himself. Eichen and Munn on a 3rd down situation. Nickel set. Boston with a blitz. And out of bounds. It's intended for the split end, Boris Pendergrass. There he is, and so that'll bring up a 4th down situation.
The same kind of pressure that Rutgers is going to try to put on Doug Flutie, though at this point they've not done it. is going to meet Mr. Hochberg most of the day because, as Eddie says, is a very good passer, 55% completion rate, and not quite as mobile, however, as Doug Flutie, so they can rush him a lot easier.
Let's see if they have the same kind of miscommunication. Pereira out of the game for BC as the kick by Liska is over on the near side, and that's Kelvin Martin. And on the play, picked up at about the 15-yard line. So Martin, no return, a very shy kick. And the miscommunication on the last punt led to a touchdown for Boston College. This time they have a little further to go. We have a 7-0 score, BC from Chestnut Hill. And we'll be back on USA Sports for more College Football 84.
Every once in a while, something unexpected shows up.
Hey, what's that, a Toyota?
The 1985 Toyota Corolla GTS. A Toyota, dependable. A Corolla, affordable. A different kind of Corolla. A sleeper. A car for the street powered by a new twin-cam, electronically fuel-injected.
What's he got in there?
16-valve engine.
What's he got in there?
Known as the TC16.
Yeah, what's he got in there?
An event rarely televised and some classy mixed doubles prove once again that USA and professional tennis are a perfect match. The Astro Arena in Houston, Texas is the home of the 3rd annual World Mixed Doubles Tournament. Defending champions Jimmy Connors and Chris Everett Lloyd face a field that includes John Lloyd and Wendy Turnbull, Peter Fleming and Billie Jean King, Jimmy Arias and Carling Bassett. Find out who's the perfect match in the semis and finals of the World Mixed Doubles Tournament on USA tonight and tomorrow.
From Alumni Stadium, it's 7-0 Boston College over Rutgers. Flutie will have Strahan and Stratford, running backs in the eye. Now they overshift with a double tight end set on the left side. To the strength, Stratford. The Rutgers did a pretty good job of breaking down that lead blocking that time.
Pitch this time to the near side of the field, and that obviously you can string it out a lot easier to the near side than you can to the far side. The difference is about 60% when you're going to the near side as to the far side. We take a look, and he really has nowhere to go as a wall of Scarlet Knights meet him.
Lionel Washington, one of the captains here at Rutgers, did a good job of breaking it down to make the tackle. 2nd down and 6. They got 4 in the last drive. Stratford again. And this time going nowhere. Roy Oak, the linebacker, stepped up in the hole beautifully. And Stratford stopped at the line of scrimmage. Ball right at the 20-yard line. Tom Duffy, a linebacker or an outside defensive rush man, will go out. And they'll bring Twombly in as they come into a nickel set. Peter Casparello and Joe DeQuinto are also in there for BC at the wideouts out of the eye. 3rd and 6 from the 20. 32%, not real good on 3rd down conversion. Uh-oh, they got loose this time, but not enough. As some good fancy footwork by Stratford could not elude Tyrone Starr. So they're going to bring in Steve Peach to kick. First time, 4th down situation coming up. It'll be Peach coming on to kick. And Peach averages about 38.5 yards a kick. Oh, he did get one away this year. Good for 54. It'll be Dan McCarris standing back by himself at his own 36-yard line. Low spiral. McCarris. And a flag thrown down on the play as McCarris is driven back to the 36-yard line. Mike Degnan and Chris Trapuka from Boston College. And that is the same Trapuka that came from the famous football family. Frank Trapuka, quarterback at Notre Dame.
We have clipping against the receivers on the run back.
And there's the call by the referee, John Soffey. And also the same Trapuka, or the same Trapuka family that sent Kelly to the NBA.
Might seem a little bit surprising that on that last series of downs for Boston College that they ran the ball 3 times, did not put the ball up in the air. But when you look at the statistics, even though Boston College makes a lot of notoriety.
Ball, clipping on the run back by the receivers, 15-yard penalty. First down.
Just saying, even though Boston College is known, and in highlight films you see Flutie always passing, The situation is that they do run more than they pass. Well, we're at Alumni Stadium. It's Boston College 7, Rutgers nothing in the first.
Sounds like there's a bear in the beer.
What are we going to do?
I'll be right back.
Where's he going?
He's going to get that beer from that bear.
That's not just a bear. That's a grizzly.
Yeah, but that's not just a beer. That's fire-brewed Strohs. I thought we had 3 cases. Well, had to make a deal.
Strohs and Stroh Light, fire brewed for smoother taste.
Norelco Rototract, the shaving machine that challenges the world. Every blade, every electric, in closeness, comfort, speed, and performance. Only Norelco holds a charge up to 3 times longer than any leading razor. Only Norelco packs 3 floating heads with a patented twin-action shaving system. Get it? And like it, or get your money back. Remember, only a Norelco performs like a Norelco.
Jack Bicknell and his Boston College Eagles. Bicknell has about a 70% winning percentage since coming over here. This is his 4th year and has done a marvelous job of rebuilding the program. And how would you have believed that a 5th string quarterback who is recruited as a defensive back would have made all this happen? 1st and 10 from the 23 Rutgers. Kurt Stevens, the fullback. Albert Smith is the running back. They have 1 setback in there right now. Smith in the slot. And over the defensive end, Dave Thomas that time, intended for Boris Pendergrass. David Thomas got right in the middle of that, made it impossible for the quarterback to see the receiver real well, and Pendergrass, quite frankly, looked like he may have been screened. Boston College will make a change defensively now. Neil Eiton will come out, and Vince Munn will come in on the right corner. High formation. 2nd and 10 at the 23. And that is Andrew Baker. I tell you, Rusty Hochberg throws that ball extremely well, off balance on the run and even off the wrong foot. Vince Munn, the new cornerback, was the man that pulled him down and shoved him out of bounds. There's Baker. Not bad numbers here. 10 touchdowns. And they've got Neil Eiton back in now. They're at one of the corners. Vince Munn has gone out. 1st and 10. Ball at the 42-yard line. Pendergrass got a hand on the ball after it was deflected. And so it comes back as an incompleted pass.
Take a look at Alan Andrews, number 86, trying to break past the line of scrimmage, gets the defensive end, and you see the linebackers coming inside. He does a good job of rolling inside the linebacker, Ed Von Nessen, number 55, to give his quarterback some space to throw the ball into.
McNell with a 4-1 record this year. There's Uri, wide receiver on top. Stevens and Smith are the running backs. Smith. Oh boy, can he run? Look at this. David Thomas and Dave Pereira, the strong safety. And he took some people with him for about 10 yards. 215-pound Albert Smith.
Easy to see now why last week he had 140 yards against Louisville on only 19 carries. And as Eddie told you at the top of the show, his 3rd 100-plus game, breaks a lot of tackles.
And it was finally Tony Thurman that dragged him down, along with help from Chuck Gorecki, the #1 tackler. 1st and 10. And Baker had a hand in the ball, but it was Pereira, the strong safety, that kind of knocked it away. So it'll be a 2nd and 10 at the 40. And there's Pereira, the senior from East Providence, Rhode Island.
Yeah, if that ball's caught, it's a touchdown. Pereira took a pretty big gamble going for the interception. And generally, as a defensive back, you're told to run through the ball receiver to the ball, so that you don't get in a situation where you're taking that big a gamble. I'm surprised he did that.
Rutgers about 345 yards a game total offense, but more passing than rushing. I can see why, as they go Smith here. Smith, who averages about 5 yards a carry, has 6 touchdowns this year, and it's Scott Harrington, big tackle that the pro scouts are looking at, and Peter Holy, a linebacker who has moved up into the #1 spot when Ted Gaffney was injured. Albert Smith, an impressive season for him. And now Eiton comes out, and Vince Munn has come back into that right corner spot for Boston College. Rusty Hochberg. 3rd and 8. Big rush. And that was the linebacker, John Galvin. John Galvin, the linebacker, pulling him down. As the BC Eagles that time with a good blitz, but a flag on the play, and John Softly, the official, coming over to tell us about it.
Offsides on the defense, 5-yard penalty, and also a face mask, 5-yard penalty on the defense.
So they socked him with a pair of violations there. Boston College, a team that has been pretty good as far as staying away from serious penalties this year. And now the discussion going on with Alan Andrews.
You almost wonder why the referee even asked the player. Of course, he has to do that, but it's obvious what's going to happen. They're going to take the penalty. They don't want to take the play, that's for sure.
And they'll take it from the 38 and move it down 5 more.
Offsides on the defense, 5-yard penalty. Face mask on the defense, declined. Still 3rd down, 3rd and about 3.
Well, now they take 1 of the penalty.
Well, it's not so much that it was declined, but can't take them both.
They take 1 or the other. And off the eye, you got a 3rd and 3 at the 33-yard line. Split right, twin receivers. Albert Smith pulled down around the neck that time by Neil Eiton, the 185-pound right corner.
Well, more importantly, I think even for that, as the Rutgers gets another 1st down, they have not had much difficulty driving on Boston College.
23 yards for Albert Smith so far, and as I said, he's about 5 yards of carry worth. He had 140 yards against Louisville last week, and he's not a bad pass receiver either. They'll go to him. They're not afraid to pass to him at all. 1st and 10, ball at the 30. Smith. And it's Pereira, the strong safety, that comes up, wraps him around the ankles, and he picks up about 6 yards. So it should bring up a 2nd down and 4. Jack Bicknell said a very important game, trying to come back after the tough loss to West Virginia. But, you know, interestingly enough, Bicknell and his club lost that game by a point last week, and the 3rd year in a row they've lost to West Virginia. Flutie's never beaten them. As Curtis Stevens is wrapped up by Mike Ruth, the nose guard. And there he is, getting up off the ground a little late. Look at the size of him. Look at those arms. Bosa will come off as a defensive tackle, replaced by Roy Norden. Bosa Jr., Norden the senior. Eiton out, and Vince Munn has come back in on a 3rd and 3 at the 23. Flop the tight end to the other side. Not complete. All he had to do was get 1 foot in bounds, Andrew Baker, and he couldn't do it. Well, he was very, very close. Todd Russell, the left corner, to bump him.
That's why you've got people, all these referees down on the field. I thought he had it.
Holding on the offense.
Wouldn't have made any difference had he caught it inbounds anyway.
You got it. Down.
And now discussing the options with Boston College. Number 52, Scott Harrington, one of the tri-captains, right in there. As our referee today, John Soffey, will spot the ball from the original line of scrimmage and then bring it back. See what we have right here as they now start to bring it back. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down and 3.
on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Still third down.
He's going to get a lot of mic time today, it looks like, huh? Dick Anderson looking over his team. Vince Munn in at the right corner. Anderson, the offensive coordinator at Penn State. Foley and Von Ness in the linebackers, and Brian Cobb for the first time into the flanker, replacing Albert Smith. A single setback. And that's Kurt Stevens. Underthrown and intercepted, I believe, no. Todd Russell looked like he had it. He did not hang on. And on a 13-yard to go situation, third down, they'll bring the kick team in.
This is what it looks like as your wide receiver. The ball is lofted. It's got a good arc, that allowing the ball to go over the back of the defender. But as you can see, Russell was right with the wide receiver there, that being Boris Pendergrass. And it would have had to have taken a miracle for the ball to get in there.
He picked the right man. Pendergrass is a hurdles champion, so you know he can get up in the air. Tony Thurman back on his 10, and Greg Liska will kick it from about the 45. All he wanted to do was to get the height and the hang time, and there's Thurman. And Boston College now have to start it up from the 9. So after bobbling the initial attempt to get a kick away, they've done well in the last 2, and we have a 7-0 ball game. We're at BC, Chestnut Hill, Mass, and we're coming back for more after this. It's 7-0 Boston College. We have 3:20 to play here in the first quarter, and we are at Alumni Stadium. And they'll tell you that it's like 32,000, but look for 36,000 plus here today. Flutie, the quarterback, with a single setback in motion. Stratford going deep. There's Stratford. Oh, he did a beautiful thing right there. He saw the defense closing in from both directions. He made sure he had the pass, and then he drew the head down into the shoulder pads to prevent an injury. What a job.
Tell you what, we've got two bad things happen. Watch Doug Flutie. He's going to hit his hand, I believe, on a helmet when he throws the ball. He's got to whip it out there pretty well. There you see the hand on the helmet. He's holding his hand. There's also a penalty down, and it looks like it is going to be against Boston College, so the ball go all the way back.
And it's an ineligible receiver downfield is what the call is here. We'll find out what happens.
But even despite the penalty, as Eddie says, that shows you how good Flutie is at looking the secondary off the ball. He looked to the tailback in the flat. He looked to another receiver on the right before throwing the ball in the center. There you see him still grabbing that right hand.
Ineligible receiver, downfield on the offense, half the distance to the goal. So loss of down penalty, going to be second down.
Well, there it is. It's a 2nd and 15 now. So BC comes out there, number 54 there, the left tackle, Sean Regent. He's a fellow that the pro scouts seem to like. I believe young Flutie is in the ball game at one of the wide receivers on the far side. He's the freshman brother of Doug. That's Stratford. And going for the ankles, coming up that time is Twombly, Steve Twombly on the corner. That's a pretty good way to take him down, Kyle. He's a strong runner, and you just go for the ankles and try and upend him.
He's also the kind of guy that likes to leap over people. But let's take a look at the Rutgers defense, how they're stringing people out. First, you're getting a secondary man up front. That's Jack LaPrairie trying to get some penetration, and that allows the rest of his linebackers to be able to get some width on the play.
He picked up 2 on the carry, 3rd and 13 from the 6. Strahan and Stratford are the running backs out of the eye. Flutie throwing. Oh, he had a man out there at the 27-yard line. Gieselman, the tight end. And the pass was, maybe he turned the wrong way. It looks like Flutie was indicating that maybe the receiver turned the wrong way on the ball. Yeah, in any event, it was an incomplete pass to bring up a 4th and 13.
Yeah, what Gieselman saw was that he got behind the linebackers, and he saw a little pocket that he knew Flutie could get him the ball into. Flutie, thinking he was going to continue running down the field, just overthrew it.
Peach is in to kick, and this could give Rutgers excellent field position. Back is McHarris at the 45. At the 44. To the 40. To the 35. To the 10. Touchdown, Rutgers! I guess that's the best kind of field position.
Well, for a young man whose longest return this year has been 28 yards, and that was a kickoff return. Here he picks up the ball near midfield, and on the semi-short kick by Boston College, weaves his way through their defense and finally makes that last leap as the safeties for Boston College unable to handle his great moves.
And so now into kick is Tom Angstad. Angstad is a good one. And we have a tie ball game. Angstad has not missed a point after touchdown. He's perfect in 1984. 15 for 15, and we have a tie game. It's Boston College 7, Rutgers 7. We have 2:21 to play in the first quarter, and we're coming to you on USA Sports. I want to remind you that tonight and tomorrow night you can stay tuned to USA for the World Mixed Doubles Championship from Houston. Jimmy Connors and Chris Everett Lloyd will defend their crown. That's tonight at 8 Eastern and Sunday at 11 Eastern time, only on USA Sports. It's 8 o'clock tonight and tomorrow evening at 11 o'clock Eastern time. And of course, as I mentioned, only on USA Sports. The reservoir in the background, that's the drinking water for the city of Boston. And this is Alumni Field, and that side of the field is where they hope to make the expansion when that comes in the next couple of years. Right now, the Boston College Eagles are going to try and expand their lead as Liska will come in to kick. And the PC cheerleaders are trying to build up a score here. Right now, it's all even at 7-7. Tyrone Taylor and Ken Bell are back to receive for Boston College. Seven tie on a punt return. And it'll be a short kick. That's Tyrone Taylor. And slowed up by one of his own blockers, Bell. He gets back to the 25-yard line, and the littlest of the Eagles, only 5'7", 168 pounds, Tyrone Taylor, will give his team field position now at the 25-yard line.
Take a look at that touchdown for Rutgers. You've got a freshman with a freshman coach, Dan McCarris. Dan McCarris had not returned a punt the whole year until right then. It's not a bad record. 1 for 1, a touchdown.
Jim Brown is the fullback. He is in a blocking position in the eye. Strahan is out. Flutie to throw. Kelvin Murphy, 37-yard line and out of bounds. He goes with it. Steve Twomley, the corner man, was there, but it was Murphy, or make that Martin, Kelvin Martin, who pulled it in.
Well, importantly, even more important than the gain and the first down, though that's nice, is that we know that Doug Flutie's hand has recovered from that hit against the helmet, because he really threw the ball in there hard.
Jack LaPrairie is out. Roger Pollard in at the strong safety. You've got Casparello and Brendan Murphy in the game at tight ends. Troy Stratford. Nice little run there, and he got a couple of extra yards at the end. John Cummins, the free safety, pulls him down. Well, Boston College trying to get themselves inspired here. Jim Brown and Stratford will be the running backs. Stratford now with 39 unofficial yards. He's had 9 carries. Martin has come into the ball game replacing one of the tight ends, Peter Casparello. Harris, Pollard, Cummins, Twomley, the deep backs defensively. Stratford. And he breaks loose. There's a loose football, and it's recovered by Boston College. Ball fumble at the 47. Tony Sagnella was there to put a hit on the ball carrier. And coming up with the loose ball was Jim Brown, a reserve fullback, 225-pound senior from Pontiac, Michigan.
Jim Brown makes a good play, but we saw Flutie look off double coverage so that he could get his receiver, Troy Stratford, open between the linebackers. And anytime you get a quarterback looking deep, your linebackers are going to be on their heels. That's what happened. He's able to throw the short pass.
1:18 in the first quarter. Slot left. Stratford in the slot, comes back. Good pursuit on the outside. Harry Swain, a reserve tackle, was there. And Tyrone Stone, one of the linebackers, as Jack Bicknell will relay the signal. And we got a 2nd down and 9. He got a yard on the carry. Phelan and Martin are the wideouts. Checking out of the game goes Flutie and Brendan Murphy. Jacques LaPrairie is in for Tom Duffy on a 2nd and 9. Anticipating pass. Phelan to the 25 and drop right there. Dan McCarris, the man that ran back to kick for the touchdown. He plays at a cornerback, the tackler on the play.
Well, here it is, roommate to roommate. Gerard Phelan is Doug Flutie's roommate, and Flutie does a good job of throwing the ball just behind him. It's a safe place to throw the ball as he can catch it in his body. He doesn't have to reach out because he knows he's going to get hit as soon as he catches it. So that adds courage to your receivers over the middle when you throw it inside the body like that.
Giaquinto and Darren Flutie in at the wide receivers, and they stretch him to the far side. Here comes Stratford in motion. Flutie is now 4 for 6. Open. And at the last moment, an excellent defensive play by Roger Pollard, the strong safety, intended for Troy Stratford, who averages about 12 yards a catch and has 3 touchdown receptions this year, and it's an incomplete pass.
Well, he's now got 4 because he had that one earlier today. So Stratford, that tailback, has more touchdowns receiving than he does rushing.
Giaquinto and Darren Flutie are the wideouts. Ken Bell is in motion. That is Giaquinto. And the young man from Winthrop, Mass. makes the reception. Lionel Washington, the drop in, knocks him right there. And we have the end of the first quarter, I believe. That's exactly right. It's going to end the first quarter of football. We've ended one at Chestnut Hill, home of Boston College.